Sometimes your greatest weakness is actually your greatest advantage in the long run. I told you the story of this woman I went to and I met in a coffee shop. And I'd seen her there every single day. Sometimes I went at 6 in the morning and sometimes I went at 6 at night. She was there every single day. And I was trying to figure out how many hours she was working and what was she doing. And I don't know, you just meet someone a few times and you want to talk about their life. And she told me that she had 3 kids and she had to get up at 4 a.m. every day and she would often go to bed at midnight or later. So she was sleeping 4 hours a night. 4 hours a night with a 12-hour-a-day job and multiple kids. And then after going to this first coffee shop job, she would go to another job at Dunkin' Donuts or just some typical chain like that. And you know what's funny? I never saw her once complain. Not once. I mean, never ever saw her in a bad mood. She was tired. She was tired always. But she was never grumpy or mean or acting frustrated. And I asked her how she did it. And really what she told me was that she didn't have an option. It was up to her to do whatever it took and be in a good mood for her kids and for the customers. And that was it. End of discussion. One of my friends recently told me that he knew a kid that had type 1 diabetes, so he was born with it. And as it turns out, he was also a 3-time All-American distance runner. So he could blow away most of his competition. And guess what? He wasn't complaining about this extreme weakness, having to take his blood before and after every damn race. He didn't complain once. He didn't say anything about it. He didn't complain that everyone else had a normal functioning body. He didn't complain that he had this issue. He just went out there and did what it took to be great. A 3-time All-American in high school with type 1 diabetes. You don't see people having things like that and just not complaining about it. And all too often, we think that weakness that we have, that mom who may not have been home much, guess what? Maybe that means she really wisely uses her time with her kids. Maybe she really focuses in on being the best mom she can be. And maybe that kid, because of his diabetes, he trains twice as hard. Or maybe he's twice as hungry. Maybe he just does twice what it takes compared to what everyone else is doing there. And that's why he's achieved a level of greatness. Richard Branson, the billionaire we all know, was famously told by one of his schoolmasters that he would either grow up to be a criminal or a millionaire. Now, he actually turned out to be an 8-time billionaire. So the professor or the high school headmaster was a bit wrong. But Branson was actually told, because he was dyslexic, because he was lazy, he can't read very well. He still can't read very well. He can't even really speak very well. But he became an 8-time billionaire, the only person I think in the world building $8 billion businesses from scratch. Well, how did he do it? He turned around the weakness into a strength, realizing that, listen, school wasn't his strength. You think he gave a crap about school? He knew that that was not his game, and as a result, he channeled that energy into a game he knew he was interested in, which was entrepreneurship. Guess what? If he was dyslexic, he didn't need to read books. He would learn it all in the trenches. Branson did whatever it took and ended up building multiple billion-dollar businesses. Last year, 2015, there was one of the worst disasters on Mount Everest in recent years, maybe within a decade, and over 20 people died and lost their lives in an avalanche. But not that many years before, a 50-something-year-old woman named Cindy Abbott, who was legally blind, freaking climbed Mount Everest. Almost 30,000 feet. A legally blind woman over the age of 50 climbed Mount Everest. Now, did you see her complaining about, oh, I can't really see, well, anything? And she climbed Mount freaking Everest. That 20-something jacked, super fit dudes end up dying on, she ended up living. Now, even though that was an avalanche, there are very many healthy, fit people that die on Everest every single year. How did she use that to her advantage? Well, maybe, guess what? Maybe she was twice as diligent about every single footstep. Maybe she was twice as conditioned. Maybe she was twice as mentally prepared. The reality is, that's a colossal disadvantage. That may be the disadvantage. Maybe the only bigger disadvantage would be having no legs to climb a mountain. And she still did it. The reality is that you may have something you view as a weakness when it comes to losing weight, getting fitter, achieving some life goal. But I want to challenge you and suggest that maybe that's going to be your greatest strength. When I was trying to gain weight, again, it doesn't matter if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight or get super fit, just get healthy. We all have some kind of health goal. Whether it's an emotional, a physical goal, or some kind of pure fitness ego goal. The point is, we all struggle to get there. When I was trying to do that, I was always complaining that I was always thin. I have a digestive problem, IBS, which means I can't just stuff food down my gullet and then expect to be functioning fine. It causes a lot of problems for me. So if I could eat 4,000 calories a day, I would have seen much better improvements than I have in the years I've been lifting weights. And I got discouraged about it because I've been in the gym for 10 years. Guys are monsters after 10 years. And I actually was talking to a bodybuilder in the gym, a pretty big dude, like an amateur, but he said to me, he goes, "Look, man, that's actually a blessing in disguise and an advantage, because lean guys like you always look good at every stage of gaining weight. You always have a six-pack, you always look muscular and ripped." And that was the first time I really ever thought about my struggle to gain weight. I mean, it sounds so petty in the grand scheme of life. That's the first time I ever really thought of it as some kind of advantage. Even my digestive condition, it forces me to eat healthy even if I don't want to. The fact that I'm skinny means, yeah, I kind of do always look good with my shirt off because I do go to the gym. And even though I'm complaining and crying and moping about not reaching this weight or this physique goal, there's always some kind of hidden advantage buried within there. So I want to ask you, what do you see as something that's a weakness, but in reality, it might be your greatest advantage and your greatest secret to your success when it comes to looking and feeling amazing and going after your biggest dream in life?